We're looking at economics, okay? And these are the various subtopics we'll be looking at. So if we don't finish all of them today, we're going to continue in the next class, okay? But we'll try as much as we can to see how far we can go into this class. Fasten your seatbelt, okay? Let's get into work. Okay, now the prerequisites for production here. Now, when we say prerequisites, we mean what are the basics, what are the terms, what are the foundation, what are things we need to know in production. Now, remember, when we talk about demand, you cannot separate production and price from demand. Price and production, they are like this when it has to do with demand. Okay, they are tied to demand. Okay, so now when we talk about the background or the foundation for production, there are various factors we need to consider. Okay, now one of them is the land. Okay, let's put it this way: the resources. Okay, these are various terms. Resources here are land, labor, etc. Okay, are we together? Then we have outputs. You know what we mean by outputs? Then we have inputs. Okay, then we have the product market, product or output market. Okay, output market. Then we have the factors or input market. Okay, are we together? We have resources, we have output, we have inputs, we have product or output market, we have the factor or the input market. Then we have the firm, we have household. Okay, then we have what we call the profit. Okay, so these are various terms or factors or terminologies we need to understand so that to get the concept of demand. Okay, now resources, when we talk about resources, we have land, labor. These are factors of production. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. These are factors of what? Production. Now when we talk about output, we talk about finished goods that are ready for use. Okay, that is output, finished goods. Now we talk about input. Input are resources that help in producing the goods and services. Okay, without the input, you can't get the output. It's what you give in that you get out. When you give in, you get out. Okay, when you give resources in, you get finished products out. Okay, then we have the product or output market. Now the product or output market is a market where you sell finished goods. Okay, where you sell or supply finished goods and commodities. That is the product market, or you call it the output market. Okay, while the factor or input market is the market for resources, where factors of production, that is the inputs now, are sold. Where inputs such as the factors of production, inputs here are factors of production, where they are sold, that is what we call the factor market or the input market. Now the firms, these are people that produce goods and services. Okay, they are firms, companies that produces goods and services for end users. Okay, while the household are the consumers, those who consume, the consumers. Okay, those who consume these finished goods, they are the what? The household. Okay, then when we talk about profits, these are reward for exchange of goods supplied to household. Okay, when firms give household, when they supply or sell goods to household, they make what we call profit. Of course, you know, every business is in, every firm or every company is in business to make profits. Okay, every profit-making company is in business to make profit. So if the firm supplies or sell goods, finished goods to household, they're expected to make profits. Okay, so while we have gotten a glimpse of all these factors, now let's go to the circular flow of production or income. Let's say how this factor, how these resources, how these determinants, how this whole thing work together to produce what we call the circular flow of production or income. But before we go into that, I'll need to use the whole of this board, but I'll skip that for now so that I don't wipe this off. So, okay, so I don't wipe this off. So let's go straight to the definition of or the law of demand. We'll come to this one later. Okay, we'll come to this one later. But let's delve into this definition / law of demand. Now, when we say demand, there's no big grammar. Demand, English language. Okay, from there. But in economics term, there are some factors, there are some terms that need to be included. Okay? So one of them is what? The price, the quantity, time. Okay? Price, quantity, and time. Okay? So therefore, demand in economics is simply the ability, okay, for someone to buy a particular quantity of goods and the willingness to pay. You must have the willingness to pay for that quantity of goods at a particular period of time. That is just the difference between your English meaning of demand and the economics meaning of demand. Okay, the willingness for someone or a consumer or a customer to pay for a particular quantity of goods at a particular or specific period of time. Do you understand that? Okay, now having known that, now there are laws of demand. Now one of the fundamental law or the main law of demand is that more goods are bought or demanded. More goods are demanded when the price are low. If you have a low price, consumer tends to, or customers tend to buy more goods. Okay? But when the prices are high, consumers or customers tend to buy low goods, low quantity of goods, because their purchasing power now has reduced because of the increase in price. Are we together? Okay. So therefore, the law of demand states that the increase in price of goods, okay, reduces what? The quantity of goods demanded. While the reduction in price increases the quantity of goods demanded. And this law only holds under few conditions. Now, what are these conditions? Now, these conditions are: one, the income of the consumer must remain unchanged. Okay? The taste and preference of the consumer must be intact, must remain constant. Okay? Close substitutes. There must be no close substitutes. Okay? There must be no close substitutes. Then, what else again? Close substitutes, taste and preference, the income of the consumer, okay? And the quality of the goods or the commodity must not change. The quality of the commodity must not change, okay? Quality of the commodity must remain what? Constant. Must not change, okay? So these are factors that must be what? These are conditions that must occur before the law of demand can hold. Okay? So the income of the consumer must remain intact. Taste and preference must not change. Close substitutes must be there without change. The quality of the commodity must what? Remain constant. Okay, these are factors. Now, demand, when you talk about demand, price is a very influential factor when it comes to demand. Price is a very influential factor. Now, when we start treating movements or shift in demand, we understand why price plays a significant role in what? The concept of demand. Are we together? Am I too fast? Okay, let me pause a bit. Take a deep breath and calm down. Okay, use the comment section if anything you want to ask. If I'm too fast or if there's anything you're not getting, use the comment section. Okay. Are we together? All right. So, having known that, so now let's move over to what? Demand schedule and curve. Okay? When we talk about demand schedule, what do you mean by demand schedule? This is like a table. Okay, I think I need to let me wipe this part off. Okay? Now, when we talk about demand schedule, it's like a table showing the quantity of goods purchased or demanded at a particular price. The various quantities of goods demanded at a particular what? Price. Now, demand schedule, they are divided into two. We have the, the individual demand schedule and the market demand schedule. Now, these are the difference. The individual demand schedule simply means a single buyer or a single individual making a demand. For instance, I go to the market, I demand for rice, beans, whatever, at various prices, okay? That one is individual, just a single person making a demand, okay? Now, market demand is individuals, various individuals, more than one individual, okay? More than one individual making demand on various commodities at various prices, okay? Do you get it? Various commodities at various prices. That is market demand. When it is more than one person now, that's market demand. But when it has to do with just one person, that's individual demand. Do you understand? Okay, so let me give an illustration, okay? Let's say Chinedu demand schedule, okay? Let's say I go to the market to buy, let's say, a tin of milk, okay? Let's say the price of tin, okay? And the quantity was demanded. Okay, when the price was 100 naira, I demanded for 10. Okay, when the price was 80 naira, I demanded for 20. Remember, okay, when the price was 60 naira, I demanded for 30. Okay, when the price was 40 naira, I demanded for 35. Like that. Okay, you can see as the price is dropping, my quantity demanded is increasing, because as the price is dropping, the purchasing power of the consumer is what's increased. Okay, so this is a typical example of an individual demand schedule. Okay, now for demand, market demand. Now, market demand will look, okay, for market demand, it will look like something like this. Price, okay? Then we'll have Chinedu, we have Tayo, we have Grace, like that, okay? Okay, this is the quantity, the total quantity. I'm just giving you a rough sketch of what individual market demand looks like. Okay, this here will have the price, we'll have the quantity demanded by Chinedu, we'll have the quantity demanded by Tayo, we'll have the quantity demanded by Grace. Then we'll now total each line. We'll total it to give us the total here that was demanded. Okay, when the price was 100 naira, let's say 80, 60, 40. Okay, when the price was 100 naira, I demanded 80, Tayo demanded 60, Grace demanded 40. So when you add these figures, it will give us the total of what was demanded that week or that period of time. Do you understand? So that's what we mean by market demand. Okay, so having known that, now when we talk about factors affecting demand, now what are these factors that are affecting demand? Other than price, are you with me? Other than price, the factors we have listed here affects demand. Other than price, these factors. Another one, okay, let's say the habits also of the customer. The habits of the customer is also included. So all these are factors that may affect demand other than price. So having known this, now let's go to the circular flow. Okay? Circular flow of production or income. All right, so now, out of all those factors we mentioned here, we mentioned firm, okay? We mentioned household, okay? We mentioned profits, outputs, inputs, factor markets, product markets, and what else? Resources, that is the land, capital, and all this stuff, okay? Now, when we talk about circular flow of production or income, without that, okay, without an understanding of that, you can't understand what demand and supply is all about. So now let's have a background knowledge of that. Now here we have, now when we say circular flow of income or production, we are trying to see how the movement of income or production or resources, how it revolves between firms and household. How it revolves between firms and what? And household. Okay, let's see here we have product markets, for instance. Product markets. Okay, product markets here, the firms are in charge of the product market. The firms, they are in charge of the product market. Now, the product market, supplies, okay, they supply to household, okay, they supply to households. When they supply to household in return pay for the goods supplied to them, thereby making the firm to make what we call profits. Okay, the product market, here we have the finished goods that are ready to be used by people. That's what we call the product market. Then they supply to households. Household in return pay them for the goods supplied to them. So that payment made to the firms, they make what we call profit from it. Remember, every firm is in business to make profits. Okay, now the household then supply to what we call the factor market. This is the factor market. Okay, now they supply resources. Okay, the households, they supply resources to factor markets. They supply resources. And what are those resources? We have land, we have labor, etc. Okay? They supply resources to factor market. Do you understand it? Then, out of this factor market, they supply to what? To firms. Okay? They supply to firms. Factor market, the households supply to firms. What do they supply to them? They supply land, they supply labor, okay, capital and all the rest of them. Then firms in return give them what we call reward. Firms in return to what have been supplied to them, they give reward towards the factor market. Well, what are those rewards? We have wages, we have rent, we have interest and all the rest of them. Do you understand? Then these firms here combine these resources that were supplied to them. They combine these resources that were supplied to them by the household. They combine it and produce what is being sold from the product market. They combine land, combine labor, combine capital, then entrepreneurship to round up the whole combination. Okay? Then produce what we call outputs or goods and services. Then this output or goods and services again is sold to households. Then the household pay for their goods and services supplied to them. Then the firm makes what we call profits. The firms make what we call profit, while the household make what we call reward. Excuse me. Do you understand? They make what we call reward, while the firm make what we call profits. So this is a typical flow of how production and income revolves around firms and household. Please, I don't want you to miss this. It's very important. If there's any question where you don't understand, please call my attention and I will respond. Let me go over this again. Now, all these are factors to be considered when treating or considering circular flow of income or production. Now, for product market, we have what we call the firm. The firms are in charge of the product market. Product market are where we have the finished goods and services. Okay? Now, they supply to households so that they can make profits. Remember I told you every firm is in business to make profit. So that they can make profits. Okay? Now, they supply to household and household pay them consideration. They give them some amount of money. They pay for goods and services supplied to them. Then the firm in turn make profit. Your profit is what? Your revenue minus your cost. Okay? Your revenue minus your cost gives you your profit. Okay? So household in turn supply goods and supply factors of production to the product market. And what are these factors? Land, labor, capital, and etc. They supply factors of production to the factor market. From this factor market, firms demand for factors of production. Okay? They demand for factors of production so that they can be able to produce. You can't produce anything without factors of production. You need land. If you want to produce anything, you need land where your machineries can be planted. You need labor, people that will help you work. You need capital. Okay? You even need entrepreneurs to help you manage your financial resources and all that. Okay, so firms request or demand for this product, combine it to still produce goods and services to be displayed on the product markets. Do you understand? So that's basically simple analysis of income production circular flow. Okay? All right, we're going to stop here. I don't want the class to be too long. So in our next class, in part 2, we are going to be looking at, we're going to start from shifts in demand, types of demand, and elasticity of demand. We're going to round up that class in the next class, okay?